So, about 1.5 years ago, Musty uploaded a video about a new mechanic called the ceiling shuffle. So apparently you can drive on the ceiling? Naturally, I immediately jumped into free play and wanted to learn it, but as you might have experienced before yourself, after I didn't manage to do it after a few tries, I lost the interest and eventually I just forgot about it, and yeah, that's been it. But let's jump ahead a few weeks ago, because I found my notes on my phone. By the way, you have no idea how many notes I have on my phone but for video ideas that I never finished. We'll see if I get to them eventually. I found the notes on this topic and I was like, yeah, I want to learn this again, so this time I was more willing to put effort and time into it, so that's when my practice began. So after some tries I actually managed to pull off my very first ceiling shuffle. Wait, what? I did it! And I kept on practicing and it did take me a few weeks, but now I would actually say that I'm consistent at it, and that's about it for my journey. So let me actually tell you now what you're here for, and that is probably how does it work, how can you learn it, and what might be like little tips that I can give you so that you might learn it a little bit quicker or easier. So usually when you drive on the ceiling, you fall off after some time. To be precise, your wheels lose the grip of the ceiling after... But the ceiling shuffle kind of cheats this system. What I'm assuming is that Rocket League recognizes a car as soon as 2 wheels hit the surface. So if you manage to hit the ceiling 2 wheels at a time, you can theoretically drive on the ceiling for a very long time. I've noticed that eventually you just fall off because, I don't know, gravity, but you can actually like drive for quite a long time, so that's kind of cool. So in summary, if you manage to hit the ceiling with 2 wheels and change to the other 2 wheels, you reset the timer and then you keep on driving on the ceiling. The more often you manage to reset the timer, the longer you drive on the ceiling. So how do you actually do that? First you need to drive at the wall at an angle. Then you jump off of it, fly to the ceiling, and because you were already at a slight angle, you will automatically hit the ceiling with 2 wheels. Now the only 2 things you have to do is, first, you always need to press acceleration. It won't work if you let go of it, that's important. And the reason why there's actually a big issue when you try it on keyboard and mouse, but more on that later. And second, you pull your joystick to the left and to the right side in turns. This makes your car turn from 2 left wheels to 2 right wheels to 2 left wheels to 2 right wheels until you fall off. Yeah, depending on what side of the pitch you are, you first pull your joystick to the left side or you pull it to the right side. So if you are on the left side of the pitch, you first pull your joystick to the right side and then to the left side. And if you're on the right side of the pitch, you first pull your analog stick to the left side and then to the right side. So just the opposite side. So in theory, it's kind of straightforward. You just fly to the ceiling at an angle, hold accelerate, and alternately pull your joystick to the left and the right side. But as always in Rocket League, the hard part is not the theory, it's getting down the correct timing. So what I've noticed is that if you change your joystick from one side to the other, doing it in this rhythm might help you with the timing of that. I've also noticed that it very much helps to take your time. In my first tries, I was kind of panicking whenever I managed to hit the ceiling at a good angle, so I started pulling my joystick too early and messed it up. It will take some time to get it down, but as soon as you don't have to think about what you have to do because you just know it and it is in your muscle memory, it will get a lot easier. Unfortunately, there is no real shortcut to muscle memory, it's just trial and error. But trust me, if I was able to learn it, then you can too. So now let's talk about keyboard and mouse. As usual, I tried to pull it off on keyboard and mouse as well, and I straight up couldn't do it, and I think I also know why. As I said earlier, it's very important that you hold accelerate at all times. But on keyboard and mouse, the key W is used for 2 things, acceleration and rotation. So as soon as you hold acceleration at all times, you rotate when you jump off the wall and your angle is messed up. On top of that, when you try to hold it when you are on the ceiling, as you try to switch from 2 wheels of one side to the other 2 wheels, you'll also rotate your car upwards. Of course you could switch your keybind of acceleration, but to be really honest, I don't think I'd do that, This mechanic is not important at all, so it's probably not really worth to change important keybinds for that. I haven't figured out another way to do it, so unfortunately I don't know if you can do it on keyboard and mouse. If you are a keyboard and mouse player and you did find a way, let me know down in the comments below and maybe I can pin a helpful one. But for everyone else, good ways to practice this mechanic is in custom training. I have a code of a training pack I made in the description below, so just copy and paste that and maybe it'll help you. Let's talk about one more thing now, because right now, with the way I told you, the only real thing you can do is drive straight at the ceiling, and that's already quite impressive, I'd say, but can you actually also turn on the ceiling? I think you can turn on the ceiling, and I actually also managed to do that, and I will explain to you how. But first of all, you will never be able to drive on the ceiling as freely as you can drive on the ground. I just don't see that happening ever. Please change my mind, because that would be so exciting to watch. And like, that would be so cool, but I just don't think it'll ever be possible. But what is possible is slight adjustments. Because when you pull your analog stick a little longer than you would when you drive straight to the left side, you make a slight turn to the right side on the ceiling. And when you pull your joystick to the right side a little longer, then you make a turn to the left. So you do have this tiny little time span to work with, but like I already said, it is really tiny, so yeah, good luck. When you were practicing to drive straight, you probably already made a lot of turns in the very end and then you fell off because you messed up your timing, and that is what you can take to your advantage. Because you already know what you have to do, but now just make it a little shorter and you're good to go. Yes, I know, it sounds so easy. Slight adjustment possible, real driving on the ceiling like a madman, probably not possible. And in the end, let's be real, this mechanic is fun to do and kinda cool, but at least so far not really viable for competitive play. The only real uses are crazy freestyle ceiling shots or passes, and if you get really creative, you might even be able to use it in defense, but in almost every case there is another mechanic that makes more sense in the specific scenario, so now that I think of it, I just really spent a lot of time doing it and I'm never gonna use it. Yeah, well, it's cool, and isn't that what useless mechanics are about? Enjoying the game and talking yourself out of spending a lot of time on something you'll never really use in your life? Cut! Okay, but for real, it's been a while since I uploaded, so if you want to know what I've been up to, for example, I lived in Korea for the last half year, check out my Twitch or Instagram, and I'm actually planning on streaming again, and I feel like most of you guys are probably stuck home anyways right now, so see you there. Bye! Oh yeah, and subscribe and like, I don't know how YouTube works.